There's a handful of people who are like, this is sick. Other people are like, that is so unsanitary. Like, you got tattooed in a mole chart. I'm like, I didn't, but like, I made it look like it. But I did get the tattoo, like that's real. Kansei really pushed the envelope for me in regards to a different side of motorsports that I never experienced with. I hate to say it because in a lot of ways, it sometimes hurts the industry and creatives, but doing free work is unfortunately sometimes a way you have to start. Drifting itself is interesting. It's an interesting niche. Like if I wouldn't have moved out here peak COVID, I wouldn't be having this conversation with you. This might be a bad take. But like, I think you got it or you don't. Truly.
Yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era.
Welcome back to the Circle Drift podcast. Today we are going to be back in Long Beach, California for Formula Drift's Shoreline Showdown, their finale event of the season. And we are going to be speaking with Vicente, who is absolutely incredible behind the camera and behind social media as well. And although you may not recognize him by his face, you definitely will recognize some of the work that he's done within drifting. Or not just drifting, just within the car industry. But I know a lot of you guys are here because you're looking to get into drifting, or maybe you're a cameraman finally about to make that step. And probably the best way to do that is through sim drifting. And lucky for you guys, this show is presented by SimHQ, so you can always save 5% off using code CircleOfDrift. So if you are in the middle of upgrading your rig, or maybe looking to get a full rig, or maybe you just need a gift for the holidays, make sure you use that code, save a little bit off on the order so you don't always have to pay full price. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the podcast. Here we are, back at FD, Long Beach, and we've got Vicente.
It's exciting, man.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
dude.
We've been talking about doing this for a while, which is cool because it's almost strange to be here because I mean you've had so many incredibly influential people, you know, talk on this podcast, you know, and I'm sitting here feeling like, you know, I'm just a dude that holds a camera.
But that's
you know?
you still got some influence.
I appreciate it.
You're involved in the industry. You got some stuff going on. And plus, that's why I interview everyone from just grassroots to big guys. I like it all. So, yeah, well, tell me a little bit about what you do specifically. I know you're big into video work and you help out a lot of brands in the industry, stuff like that. So,
yeah, I do a lot of visual media, so a lot of photo, video, primarily video production. A lot of people do recognize my work for a lot of the Kansei videos that I've done. That typically stands out the most. I mean, I've done work each one, a bunch of different clients, but I was actually here in Long Beach when I started working with Kansei back in,
Oh, really?
2020. Yeah, it was strange how it worked. I was doing what I'm doing now. I was running kind of like a production company style company, but smaller in Philadelphia where I'm from. And COVID hit. So it was like I was catering to smaller and medium-sized, very few medium-sized companies. And COVID hit. And then it was like, we're going out of business. And then naturally I was like, so am I.
No.
You know, that's concerning.
I'm screwed.
Yeah, and then I met some guy who's been my idol, named JJ Larson. I'll plug him. He's incredible. He's one of the most talented artists I've had the pleasure of knowing. I met him in Canada and actually knew the founder of Kansei Wheels, Chris Sempek, and they wanted me to come out for an interview in peak COVID, and they were stoked, and they're like, we want to know if this is what you want to do, and then moved out here. Like 2 weeks after that, and then the rest was history.
Oh, so you're permanently out here now?
No, I was.
Oh,
so I was.
Okay.
I'm no shade on Long Beach, or LA, or California
Not the
as
place,
a whole. Just wasn't for me. I was born in Las Vegas and grew up in Philadelphia. Yeah, so it was a very weird upbringing and how I got involved into media.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very strange. Yeah, grew up in Las Vegas. My parents met in the circus. And then settled down.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So like, if we're going like really backstory, like way back, if we're going like way back.
A circus kid, man.
I think they met in the circus in Japan. They met in Ringling Brothers So it was like OG Ringling Brothers.
Dude, that is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Which is
no way.
Which is wild. So I grew up there, and they settled down with Cirque du Soleil. So a lot of my family on my dad's side was Cirque du Soleil. So I did a lot of it growing up, and trapeze, tumbling, tramp wall.
So you
Chinese
can do a
poles.
lot of that stuff?
I don't anymore, but I did for a while.
No way.
Yeah. And then so once I had moved to Philadelphia, I got into heavy snowboarding. Snowboarding transferred pretty easily for me, and I was a big park guy, big park snowboarder, and then I needed a film for like sponsors, and I wanted to learn how to film sponsor tapes.
Yep.
That's when I picked up a camera, and then I learned how to start filming for sponsor tapes, and I just got infatuated with the idea of production and movies and photo and visuals, and it started from that, transitioning to Philadelphia, trying to learn how to snowboard, and then got into automotive photo, video, and then kind of spiraled into what I do now for a company, which is cool.
Dude, what was the first camera you picked up?
Oof,
Actually.
man. When I really started getting into it and I couldn't afford a camera, I was doing a lot of old like iPhone stuff,
No
and then
way.
editing on like a Splice app.
Yep.
Way back in the day
Oh,
for
yeah,
free.
I remember that
And
app.
then they wouldn't save, so you'd have to like try and get them done. So you'd have to try and get them done before you locked your phone or something. The first actual camera, it was I want to say it was a T3i, a Rebel T3i.
No way.
Yeah, it was a T3i.
Same, brothers.
Then
Fucking same.
so I was Canon for a bit. So I went Canon T3i to a Canon 6D, my first full frame,
Okay.
and then wanted to really pursue video, so I naturally switched over to Sony. Yeah, which is what I'm currently on right now,
Yeah.
the dark side, if we call it that.
I did
don't
the same thing, and now I'm at Blackmagic. Somehow I ended up here.
know. I never got into that platform. No idea, but
How
yeah.
come? Just out of curiosity.
I got really comfortable with Sony.
Yeah.
And their menu system for Sony at some capacity was really confusing and complex, and it was annoying. So I didn't want to pick anything else up because I didn't want to relearn. Sony just stuck. I know people are gonna not be stoked that I'm gonna say this, but Canon's color science is probably better. But I'll say it. But I just like Sony. I like Sony for video. So naturally, that's what I stuck with.
Yeah.
With everything. So yeah, that's a little bit of a little backstory of how kind of everything evolved from Vegas to Philly really quickly to video, and then here, and then back to Philly.
So where did just the idea of motorsports even come into play? Was it before Conce, or did it come along with Conce?
So that's a good question. I've always loved cars as a kid. I've always loved anything adrenaline related. So anything motorsports related was fun. Conce really pushed the envelope for me in regards to a different side of motorsports that I never experienced with, which was cool for me because drifting was foreign to me. I did a lot of work in Philadelphia prior to coming to Long Beach for them, and when I was working with them full time, doing a lot of exotic R&D for fabricators and stuff like that over there on the East Coast. But I've always really liked cars. Was a big Tokyo Drift fan. Loved it.
We all?
Yeah, yeah. So it was, I was really inspired by it. I was always like super excited to get my license. Growing up, I just want to drive. Like, just loved cars. And then I did a bunch of fashion style photo video as well at some capacity, and I thought they intertwined with each other kind of nicely. A lot of car influenced or like-minded people have a good fashion sense, I thought, at the time. So it was kind of everything kind of meshed together. So automotive was something that I was stoked to pursue because it was different enough, but also in a realm that I was comfortable in,
So you've obviously seen other people do, media work for, say, drivers or companies or whatever, and it all kind of meshes together, kind of seems the same. You found an outlier to where it's a whole different genre within drifting media for Conce specifically.
Correct.
So what a lot of those details from the fashion stuff or whatever media work you were doing beforehand did you bring into drifting? I've got an example of a buddy of mine that I'll give in a second.
Yeah,
but
I don't know if I've ever been asked a question like that or pondered that much. I mean, I like to pride myself on having experience in a bunch of different fields, whether that's urban and architectural or wedding or portraiture and automotive.
Total opposite of what like you're told to do as well.
Correct.
By
yes.
the way.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I think the one thing that I will pride myself on, I can't speak on necessarily what I've taken from each without really pondering it. But I think the one thing that I take away and I'm confident in is being able to adapt and pivot. Because I've had my hands dipped in a bunch of different styles of media across all boards. So pursuing automotive and primarily staying in automotive, I feel comfortable because I've experienced an assortment of different types of visual media on different fields and industries. So I can't necessarily pinpoint one thing that I've taken other than being able to hey, things go wrong. You have to pivot, something is awful. I mean, granted, losing an SD card or some footage at a car shoot is significantly less detrimental than losing an SD card at a wedding. That's scary stuff.
That's very true. Okay.
So yeah, I do think I've one thing I could maybe say is that I've learned to plan a little bit, but also be quick on my toes. And like I said, really be able to adapt and pivot to life is full of fucking curveballs.
I wasn't even thinking of that. I was even talking on the more creative aspect of it.
Yeah.
Of because the way you make videos and just even the ads is almost a storyline to the ad in a sense. It's not just a bunch of random cool shots thrown together.
Right. Yeah. I think there's a mixture. I think it does depend and is circumstantial to the type of client, right, that I'm working with. If we're using Conte as an example, granted, I do all their creative direction when it comes to all their ad campaigns and anything that has a monetary value I've touched in some way. I really like the idea of having people watch something and wonder how we did it. I think for me, that's fun. Be like, how did you think of this?
Anyone creative, they enjoy that.
Yeah, I think, and sometimes it's tough because I'm trying to bridge the gap with maintaining that creativity and being an artist, but also thinking as a businessman and trying to make sure that I'm delivering a product that also carries an ROI, and that sometimes as an artist is hard. That's a hard pill to swallow. So I don't know if that's really answering your question, but I really think of visuals as a way to express myself creatively in a way that hopefully gets people to want to buy something, Now
let me ask you this then, because I don't say it all the time, but I've said it before, if you're looking in a more influencer and creator perspective, I tell people, how much of your creativity are you actually willing to give up for the engagement and the views and stuff like that? So does that play a factor into that?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And sometimes that's a fucking incredible question. Or incredible. Yeah, yes. Because I ponder that. Yeah, I ponder that all the time. Because obviously I want something that's going to perform well. I would love to have viral clips all the time. I would really enjoy that. But I do think at some capacity it stifles creativity. Because I feel like a lot of times we're following trends because we do see things that work well, and sometimes I have to play into it at some capacity because I know there is a monetary value that comes with that. I know there's something that's significant that comes with having that, there. But sometimes I do weigh the battle of being like, do I follow this or do I kind of branch off and, try and do my own thing and hope it sticks? And I try and lean towards that direction as much as I can.
Yeah.
But I try and pull inspiration from various outlets. I want to be creative. I want to let my creativity thrive as much as possible. But I do know a lot of the work that I do is client-based. So I know that hey, we want to see a result. We want to see something that provides an ROI. And I say that a lot. And I say that in a positive way, though, because I do like to try as hard as possible to create something for someone that they could stand behind and be like, this is impressive, visually it's beautiful, and there's a message behind it that makes people want to buy it. So there is a balance, and I have to try and sometimes find the balance of being like, I really want to do this because I know it works. And doing this.
I'm laughing because I know the exact feeling you're talking about.
Right. Yeah. It's sometimes it's tough, man. It is.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And especially in my sense of like even the B-roll that I use in Reels, I could spend a lot of time trying to just scrounge up that B-roll that I need and plan it all out while I'm at these events. But honestly, it works better if I just use viral clips that are already out there, or like, you know, people that are influential within the industry or so on and so forth. And it hurts me because I don't get to dump out the creative side of it, and I'm using someone else's content. But like it for one, it's faster. I have to get it done. There's too much shit to do. So, and then two, like, it does kind of help views sometimes when people see familiar B-roll that they've already seen before. And
yeah, and I think there's a place for it. Like, I think the way that you implement it in your videos does extremely well, and it makes sense. Like, it's a really good way to recycle and use this organic material that people have created for a different way, for a way that pushes, you know, your message a little bit more. And I think that's incredible. It's a good way to utilize that type of material, you know? So like, I do see such value in doing stuff like that, for sure. Like, it makes sense, you know, and a lot of people are doing it.
Is that why you guys started the whole, what is it called? The Conte Corner thing? Yes
and no. So Chris is funny. I mean, I've been, like I said, I've been with them. I was with them full-time in-house for a year and some change before I came back and just restarted my company. And then, like I said, I've done so much work with them. I was like, we need to continue to do this, you know, like, this is great, you know, and like, I see them as a family. They're incredible people. They're great for the community. But Chris himself, him and I, sometimes we go, yes. Yeah, we go back and forth because he's also, in a way, he's very much an artist. He designs all the wheels in-house. He's very smart. He's very, very smart, and he's passionate about his brand. He's an engineer. He's an engineer, you know, but he's also a super artistic engineer who knows photo, who knows video. So there's a lot of times I can't cheat shit, dude. Like, he knows it. Like, he knows. Like, he's so in it. But yeah, sometimes we have a hard time because we bounce things off each other creatively, and, you know, it clashes, and I have to be very confident in what I say because, you know, given that he's my friend for sure, but also my client. Yeah. You know, so it's like I wouldn't be doing my job if I'm gonna tell you that, like, you're right. You're right. I'm going to be as whatever authentic as possible with you, to be like, hey, we should not do this. You know, like, we should do something else, or we should run my version, or I'll make your version. This is the way that I've done it a couple times, where, like, I'll make both versions the way he wants it and the way I want it, and I'll send it out. Yeah. Be like, pick. You know, and that's the way. It's like, okay, if I'm wrong, I will hold myself accountable, and, you know, but other times it's like, all right, let's see how this goes. You ought to just, I don't know if the Conte account has it, but that trial feature, you ought to try it doing both your version and his version. It only gets sent to people outside of your followers. Right. So then you can see and play it, and you can pull it. If not, if it works good, fully submit it. That's interesting. The algorithm's always also redeveloping itself, and that's touching back on the Conte Corner. That was very I don't want to say impromptu, but that was a Chris idea. So kind of coming back on it, like, hey, I want to add more personality to the brand, whether that's with you or with me. Like, I want to have people feel as if when we're not doing these crazy projects, there's a face to the brand at some capacity, that people could have questions that we could answer, and they're common questions. You know, so when we filmed like 10 episodes in a day, you know, like the most common questions asked, and then ran with that. So yeah, like, it's that was a him idea, and I think that was a really important thing to do. You know, like, I think I nudged him a little bit last year to do that, because I saw, like, the lack of content on Conce's end, their own self. So I guess not lack of content, but the informative stuff. Right. And I was like, dude, literally just. This is what I do. Just stand in front of a camera and talk. Right. Yeah. Like, you're already talking about the important stuff. Right. Just let someone doctor it up for you. Yeah. Yeah. Which is cool, because I mean, granted, talking in front of a camera is scary and hard, dude. That's why I'm behind one all the time. I'm just so scared. I'm scared. I'm fucking scared right now. I'm like shaking. Twitching. And like, I'm grabbing the water. You know. Yeah, it's tough, but Chris is a really good person to do it, because he's obviously very knowledgeable about the brand. You know, he started it. This is his passion, you know, coming to life, that's been alive, that people are have become fans of. So he was eager to kind of do it, which is exciting. So I don't know if that was maybe you give him a helping nudge in the right direction, which was really cool.
Dude, you gotta do something
If that's how that went, that's massive.
Yeah.
You know, because like people do like him, and then people ask questions, and I think the engagement's good for stuff like that. From what I see, like that's important for me to see. You know, so like, and I think he likes that too. It's good. I think it's good all around.
Good.
Which is cool.
I mentioned it to. I gotta bring this up. I mentioned it to him last night before our podcast. The "What's Up, guys," that like the intro of it.
Oh yeah.
The way the intro is, it's gotta go. It's gotta go.
Okay.
I can't do that.
All right, noted.
I tell everyone that. It's like as soon as you start a video with, "What's up, guys? My name is blah blah blah. I'm from da da da," or "Hey guys," or just that typical intro of just someone that doesn't really know how to talk to a camera. It irritates.
That's incredible that you talked
me.
about it last night, because I was there on site with them maybe like 30 minutes before you filmed your guys' podcast.
Oh,
I just missed you yesterday, and I was like, we should maybe redo the intro. I was like, we're restaging. I was like, we should just do a new intro. And he's like, I don't think it's necessary. So that's hilarious that you brought it back up. Naturally, he's gonna think that I texted you asking him to fucking change it, because it bothers me too.
Yeah, he mentioned that you say something about it all the time.
That's hilarious. Yeah, good. Yeah,
like,
great.
dude,
I'm happy you said something. So now I'm just gonna make him film a different one. It's incredible, dude. You're making my life so much easier, dude.
Literally, just read the question.
Yeah.
Just read the question. And then look up at the camera and say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Right.
You'll make it work in post.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'm creative enough, I hope.
I hope, yeah.
Yeah.
What was the first wheel that Kansai ever came out with?
Tandem?
Ah, so close.
Roku.
Nah.
The Roku?
Nah.
If I had to guess, I would say Roku.
I'm gonna guess Roku, maybe?
It's literally the same thing you said. Nah, it's the KMP. What was the original name for the KMP? I don't think anybody's gonna guess this all day.
I have no clue. I'm not even a guess in my head, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Nope. Not at all?
No, I sure don't.
That I don't remember. Wasn't? No.
I don't know if it was said anywhere else other than my podcast. It still had KNP in it.
I'm sorry, Chris.
Oh, it flatlined.
Wow, I don't know that one. I don't know that one. Yeah, I'm stumped
It
on
still
that.
got KNP in it. It's actually called the Noop. The Kansai Noop. It was never, well, it wasn't Kansai at the time. It was Simpec still.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the Noop. KNOOP. Hell yeah, and he's working the booth too. Well, from your perspective, what is like the coolest project or stuff that you have worked on with them?
Oof, that's
To
super
me,
tough,
the tattoo
man.
one.
I think
That
that's
shit was so cool.
That was up there for me. I think that's my most recent favorite one. We've done a couple where, I mean, man, we've done a lot. We've done a lot of cool projects. I think that is also right now, I think my current favorite until we top it somehow. That one was hectic because a lot of people, there was a bunch of different mixed reactions from it. Everyone, there's a handful of people were like, this is sick. Other people were like, that is so unsanitary. Like you got tattooed in a mole chart. I'm like, I didn't, but like, I made it look like it.
Yeah, it looks like it.
But I did get the tattoo, like that's real, which is crazy that I'm putting that out there like that. But I did, I got it. It's on my leg.
Where were we? You showed it to us at Scott's.
In Arkansas.
Y'all's little Airbnb. Where the fuck was that?
We were in Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Yeah,
TogeCon.
TogeCon.
Sorry.
Yeah. Because it was, I had this random idea I've always wanted to do something with a tattoo theme. And I always think like with tax sale coming up, it's like you have extra money. Like, what can I do with this extra money? You know, I was like, I think getting a tattoo is a very reasonable thing to do with extra money.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, I think this would be really funny if, you know, we could get this approved. And at first, Chris was like, I don't know, man. Like, and I'm like, dude, this is legendary shit, I think. Like, this is hilarious. I'll fucking do it. I don't care. You know, like, I'll do it. He was like on the fence about it. And then one of the owners, he was like, I think that's incredible. And I was like, I'm doing it. I'm like, I'm doing
Chris,
it.
forget about it. I'm doing it.
I was like, and then Chris was like, all right, let's do it. And then we used homie Brian Hopp, which is just an incredible dude. He has his a mulch business, and like legit, we filmed his whole drifting sequence in a mulch yard around tractors and tons of mulch. super sketchy. I got the tattoo in like a little office, like the real tattoo in the office.
Yeah.
And then there was, the text on top of it that said Kansai tax sale, and then underneath it said 25% off. And I was like, I love you, Kansai and brand, but I was like, I'll never get that tattooed on my leg ever, dude. The wheel is enough. I'll do that.
Dude, that would be so funny though.
No, it
That
wouldn't,
would be
dude.
the greatest
I would never
story
get
ever to
25%
tell.
off tattooed on my body ever, dude.
Yeah, but now you like blue balls people because now you tell them the story.
They don't
and
need
they're
to
like,
know, dude.
Well, damn. Now that I know that could be there, that would
That's
be 10
movie
times
magic,
funnier.
dude. That should know. It should be like, damn, you're really good at your job, dude. I should hire you. Damn, I really thought that was real. Like that. Let me convey that message
Oh my
instead. You know.
That's so
Yeah.
good,
So that
dude.
was. I think that was my favorite one. I think that was my favorite one because that was nutty. That was the most involved one where we're like, we just got to do it, And then I was on the tattoo table, like in the mold shard, like he's pretending to tattoo me even though my tattoo was already done. But like, yeah, he's actually drifting around me. Like it was nuts, dude. It was pretty crazy.
What all went into planning that?
A lot, dude. There's a lot. That's something that I do. I will say that I take some pride in with trying to get better at storyboarding and storytelling.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I like things that make people be like, why'd you do that? Like that's a great example of like, you got tattooed for this. It's like, yes, I did. It's
You're
like, I
damn
love
right.
stuff like that. And where'd you get tattooed? A mulch yard. So it's like stuff like that where like, it makes me feel good because it's engaging enough, but it's also creative enough to where like I'm bridging the gap. Like I said, I'm bridging the gap with, I'm telling a really important message that conveys your sale, but also visually, I'm showing you something that's fucking nuts. So the storyboarding in the process is extensive. It's, creating a deck and then having shots that we follow and different angles and very light script of what I say and whatnot. But there's just a lot of pre-planning and working with multiple different parts of or multiple different people to make sure that we could actually pull this off. And it's just the ad campaigns that Kansai does. It's every time like you want to do it bigger and better. Like any ad I do with any client, Kansai being the biggest one at the level like Chris knows it, is like we have to, it's got to be up. So I'm constantly inspired and constantly finding new ways to inspire myself at some capacity to produce something that's like, whoa.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of pre-planning, dude. Like, it's stressful. It's super stressful.
I'm trying to preface for the people that are like, because considering videography work and like making ads for companies, people don't understand what all goes into the not just shooting, but the pre-production of it. So, how many hours alone are you spending on just making the script, essentially?
A lot, man. I if I were to put that particular project into like an hourly count, I'd say just pre-planning with like storyboard, shot list, script, mood board, angles, everything's calculated for on an iPad that we're checking off as we're going. I'd say just pre-planning, I want to say maybe a couple weeks. Hour-wise, maybe like 30 to 40.
God bless.
Yeah,
That's
just and then
insane.
because then you have like it's tons of reaching out to people, like it's making sure that schedules work and making sure that we have the space available to us, and stuff like that, and then making sure that if I need any extra help shooting, and then now we're including a tattoo artist, so there's so many fucking variables, dude, where it's like there's so much that goes into it that people don't understand. It's like, oh, I didn't know, there was no just let's get tattooed in a mulch yard.
Yeah.
That's not how that works at all. There's a lot that goes into it. And then following that, there's a lot that comes out of it. There's like, okay, there's a main feature, which is, like the most involved piece that still gets every cut in every aspect ratio. That's built for ads. And then there's breakdowns of each section. So you have like 4 separate ads that are curated from the main feature that still tell the ad or still showcase the ad in some way in every aspect ratio. And then you have different, cutaways from studio stuff and all that stuff. So you're exporting like 20 videos, and yeah, so it's a ton of work. Like editing hours anywhere from like 40 to 60, just sitting there, like trying new things and experimenting with sound design. And it's a lot, dude. Color correction, everything.
Yeah, you get buried down that rabbit hole of trying new stuff.
Yeah,
Oh
because
my
then
God, you
you're
get lost for hours.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I try so hard to come out with something that's different and digestible, though. You know, like, I want it to be easy for people to consume and be like I said, convey a message to make people like, I want to buy that.
Yeah.
You know, but also be like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, man. Like, you get it. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot of hours. Pre-planning is insane. Post-production is gruesome.
Ungodly, yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Well, you mentioned like a physical shot list. So are you just listing out shots, what they would kind of look like, or are you actually maybe even throwing them in an AI generator and like creating some visual representation of what the shot could look like?
Right. So yeah. So I am super specific. So like, if I know exactly how I want to do this ad, I have my song selected. I'm making bulletin points within the song of what cuts and what shots I want within those timelines.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, I have my sound design kind of already built out. I'm visualizing the video as I'm listening to my song, and I'm visualizing the script as I do it. So the script itself is very thorough. It's very like, okay, first opening shot is a dolly in for 3 seconds. Next shot, pan, like, it's very calculated. Like, it's very to the T, so I know exactly what the basis to get somewhat of what I want, to make the video look a certain way. Granted, I'm gonna shoot things a bunch of different ways, but I know the main meat and potatoes of what I need is within the criteria of the storyboard, or shot list.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I won't go as far as doing AI generated stuff. I haven't thought of something like that. I'll try and find shots that I could reference on videos that inspire me, or types of like a vertigo effect on this shot. You know, like, I really like this sequence. Like, how can I implement it into what I'm visualizing? You know, so like, I'll go and find things, be like, it's this type of shot. You know, it's this type of shot. This is how I want to film this, but I want to reverse it in post. You know, so I'm trying to be as detailed as possible, because with at least ad campaigns, it's very curated. You know, it's not so much a free piece. Like, when I'm doing something like Formula Drift, where I have creativity to make a hype edit that's great for social, that I have free play. You know, ad campaigns are so different, where it's strict. Like, I know I need these main things. I know I need the copy of the sale to come up at this timeline, at this timestamp. Like, I know I need these things. So it gets lengthy, dude.
Yeah, I'm sure you miss stuff too. Like, does it ever get to a point where you're exported a video and you're like, motherfucker, that tiniest little detail?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, and there's clients that'll they're not upset necessarily, really, but I wish we had this. And obviously, for me, that makes me feel awful. Yeah. You know, because it's like, fuck, like, it's something that. And it could be a freak accident. It could be something that we just totally either looked over, or something that's like, we physically couldn't do it, dude. He blew his diff.
Yeah, that's true.
You know? Like, so it's like, there's things like that, you know, come into play, and that comes back to trying to adapt and pivot. But yeah, sometimes, like, Chris is another one, like, man, I wish we had this. And that's always just like you know, like, man. Like,
I suck.
Yeah, because I'm delivering what I think to be a piece that's. And they're like, but, and I'm like, oh, man. Like, so any client revisions at some capacity is always kind of messed up.
Yeah,
you know?
dude, I hate it.
Yeah, I've had people where, like, I finish a video.
So nervous.
And they're like, can we change the song? And I'm like,
absolutely not.
I'm like,
there's no way in hell.
I don't know what to say to that. You know,
of all the critiques, you chose
that's the worst one. It's hands down the worst one. Throw all your sound design away. Throw all your cuts away. I guess you could go find a song with the same BPM, but like, it's not gonna be the same.
Yeah, no.
It's impossible.
No.
So yeah, I've gotten a handful of stuff thrown my way for sure.
Oh.
Yep.
God, that sucks. Well, there's obviously going to be a lot of people watching this that are looking to make a career out of video work and stuff. So, from someone that jumped into a sport already making money doing it, what is your suggestion to people that are like hardcore about drifting and want to make a career out of this?
In regards to just media.
Just like media, or like how they price themselves, how they approach people for it.
It's so tough,
like,
man.
What's that one piece of advice?
I think that's a loaded question, and I'll explain why. I think, first and foremost, I think you have to pick up the camera a lot. I think you need to shoot everything. and experiment with everything and follow trends. You know, I think getting started is fun following trends. It's ways to learn new editing styles and new ways to make different transitions and incorporate sound design. I think it's fun to follow trends, but I think realistically, you got to be shooting everything. Like dabble in all different subcultures of the industry, whether that's exotic or slam C10s or drift, or, you know, I think creating freely makes you feel more confident in a client setting, because you know for sure that no matter what, I could produce something on a whim. You know, I'm confident enough in my skill sets where adversity's thrown your way, like you could handle it. You know, I think how to price yourself is tough, you know, because some people, that's such a tricky question, you know, because a lot of times.
That's why I wanted to preface all the pre-production stuff that you did before this.
I do think there's levels to it. I think I had a conversation with someone where I'm like, we're talking about tenure and how long you've been in the industry. And I try and reference that as not so much a price point, like, oh, I've been here for 15 years. And it's like, but that doesn't mean your 15 years worth of work is billable for this amount of, you know, so it's like, it's tough, but like, you don't want to insult anyone either, you know? So like, but it's tricky because what we do and how we do it is subjective to a degree. It's very subjective. Like a lot of people watching this can be like, I hate his shit.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's another thing is being okay with people not like, this isn't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to at some capacity remember that's like, this might not be for everyone, you know? So it's tough because it's like, you know, where do you value making money, or how do you value making money? You know, so I think that it gets tricky pricing out your hourly rate or your day rate or your post-production rate, because there's so many things that I think need to go into it, where it's like, I want to see, you know, a deck from you, or not a resume, but like, I want to see something that you've done. How involved are you in these pieces? You know, so like, I think there's a ton of different criteria to reference prior to being like, yeah, I'm worth this. You know, so like, it's tough, dude. Like sometimes I don't even know. Like, I'm just sitting here, I'm like, what do you want to give me?
Just look at my tattoo I did for an ad.
This is what I did.
Yeah.
You know, no, it's tough. I do think being really confident in the work that you do is a huge plus. And then I hate to say it because in a lot of ways it sometimes hurts the industry and creatives, but doing free work is unfortunately sometimes a way you have to start. And I say that reluctantly because obviously people deserve to be paid for their time. I think if you put your heart into something and you're doing it for someone, I think you should be paid and compensated, obviously.
You can't get paid for what you don't know.
Correct.
As well.
So like if you're trying to get started, I've done thousands of hours of free work. You know, like I did the grunt work, I did the free weddings and free shoots, and I've done so much stuff to just be like, hey, I need it for a resume builder. I need it to build my portfolio. I need this to be able to reference the skill set that I have. And like I said, I hate saying that because sometimes it sucks, dude. It does. It sucks. It's disheartening. And some people are like, this almost makes me not want to do it.
Yeah.
And I understand that. Like, I feel that. But in a lot of ways, there's so many people that are trying to do this. As I would say, it's a really competitive industry. So like trying to get involved in something that, you know, like as a kid, I'm living my dream and I'm very thankful for that. You know, I'm very stoked to be in the position that I'm in. I mean, I've worked really fucking hard for it though. I've worked really hard and I will never take that away from myself. I'm not the best ever. I would not say I'm the best by any means. There's so many other people that are significantly better than me. I think I'm great. I will say I think I'm great. I'm passionate enough and think that I'm great. But I'm not the best. But I worked really fucking hard. You know, and I think if you work really fucking hard and don't care to stop, given the circumstances, I think you'll get to that point where you could bill, $1,500 for a day, shooting for 6 to 8 hours, or your post-production rate could exceed this amount. Like, I think that's huge, but like, you just have to start, you know, and I think that's the hardest part, dude, truly.
Well, what would you, since you said a $1,800 day, what would you bill that as and what would it consist of fully?
So if I'm shooting, let's say if we're doing event work, like if we're doing, typically events like these, you're shooting anywhere from 8 to 12 hours depending on the day.
Yep.
So typically like I bill a set rate for a criteria that fits 8 to 10 hours. And it's tough because like I said, when I have retainer clients or if I'm doing a job or a shoot for a retainer client that exceeds that amount, I don't want to send a separate invoice for like, hey, these are the hours I went over. You know, like I'll be like, hey, these are the hours I went over. Let's roll this over into the next invoice for the next retainer amount. You know, so if I'm billing just a time and materials rate for someone that's not a retainer client, that's just like, hey, I need a shoot for this event, this car show from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., I'm billing you $1,500, right? So I'm billing you $1,500 for, that's 12 hours. Technically, I'm only here, I would realistically only shoot 10, but I'm giving you 10 to 12 hours. Like I'm giving myself to you for that day.
Yeah.
Right? And whether or not that consists of just me or bringing in a second shooter, you know, there's a ton of variables or involvement within the shoot. And then obviously you involve post-production into that process and how involved the piece is or how many pieces do you want out of it?
Yeah.
You know, so there's so many different things that also come in with pre-planning, being like, exactly what do you want? And what can I help you achieve? You know, what are you trying to convey or what do you need out of this event? You know, is it sales? Is it views? Is it clicks? Like, what do you want? And how can I develop and curate a strategy to make sure you get that? Because you're investing in me in this hours, like you're paying me this money, which is not cheap but not crazy expensive, but it's not cheap. And I understand that, and I want to be respectful of the money you're giving me. And I want to make sure that you're getting everything that you're paying for. Like I always want to try and, you know, under promise and over deliver as much as I possibly can. And I think that's super important. Like I have to do it. It makes me feel better. Because I hate hate doing the bare minimum. It makes me feel weird.
Yeah.
Because I think it translates into work, for sure. You know, so like trying as hard as possible, and the level of work you do at all times it shows. It speaks volumes.
Diminishes your character.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think so to a degree, for sure.
Just
Because
feels like it.
I would agree with it because I mean, like I said, the way that I look at it is like you're investing your money that you've worked for in me to provide a service that you're expecting this, and when in reality you're getting this, that's a slap in the face.
Yep.
And I don't want anyone to be like, yeah, Vicente with unknown union, like, you know, like, nah, I mean, that's not it. And if there's ever a time where we're feeling as if we are under delivering, there has to be a conversation had where it's either you don't pay for it or we come back and we do it again.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that it's excusable to leave a client. Granted, this is circumstantial. There are crazy clients out
Absolutely.
there.
Yeah.
There are crazy clients out there. But if you know yourself did not deliver on the expectations that you set, you got to fix it. You got to fix it, for sure.
Yeah. Do you think this is like, I know it's your dream, but like forever? Is it something that you think will last forever?
That's a good question.
I find myself thinking about stuff like, even for this, like, is this
Yeah.
ever permanent?
Yeah, that's a great question. Man, that's tough. Because I love what I do. Like I said, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love what I do.
Yeah.
I love the flexibility. And Cerise and I ironically talk about this all the time. You know, we talk about something similar to what you just asked me. I'm very grateful for what I do. I love what I do. I love the flexibility of what I do. Like, I know if I don't work all day, I gotta wake up at 4 a.m. That's on me.
Yeah.
And I have the flexibility and the ability to do that, which is cool. I would love for this to be, it's some capacity, whether it's having my company be a full-time production studio and creative outlet for brands to consider having work done by. You know, I think that for whether I take on more of a producing role and strategically plan these things for these clients and step back and have people come in that I trust visually to execute on the things that I see, or not, or continuing to shoot. Like, I would love to stay in this industry. Whether or not that's diversifying and moving not out of automotive, but in other areas and doing other things at a level that makes me feel good as to like, I had a hand in making that happen. You know, so like, I really do hope that I continue down this path with the type of work that I'm doing and the type of work I'm doing with these types of people. I think it's fun for me. It's exciting. So like I would love for this to be a career or a lifelong career for me to feel fulfilled. You know, I just want to feel of use. I think for me that makes me feel the best, is like I feel that I'm providing something. And whether that's to people that are sitting down watching, you know, a banger video on the toilet in the morning, you know, or someone that's like, wow, I got to talk to this dude and he was super nice. And like, I just really like that. Like, I love being able to connect with people and talk to people and meet people. It's something that I would never trade for anything. Like, I love it so much. Like, this is fun. Like, this is scary for me, but this is fun. You know, like, I love the conversations. Like, I love talking about what I do and how I do it. It's exciting for me. So I do hope that, you know, this is something that I can continue to pursue for as long as I'm healthy and able to do it, you know? Yeah.
It'd be nice if we could just keep it drifting, but I know drifting is not big enough to make it a full-on, you know, lifetime career.
As far as monetary goes, or what do you mean?
Well, just in the sense of, like, actually, me and Sage just talked about it for, we'll use Lime Rock, for example, or not Lime Rock, New Jersey, E-Town.
E-Town.
So like E-Town's going away and stuff like that. Obviously, it's big. It's got a whole bunch of stuff going on. But if it tried to survive off of, you know, just racing, it would completely fall through and wouldn't be able to sustain itself, like we're seeing with a bunch of other racetracks and stuff like that. So they have, you know, car auctions, car storage, and like all this other stuff, motocross and like everything, dude. So like, I don't know where I'm going with that, but like I totally get that side of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think drifting itself is, they say it's the fastest growing motorsport, which is cool. And I think to agree, it's cool, but also scary, because there's so much fluctuation with, you know, how drifting goes, and not in like attendance or viewership, but it's still on such an upward trajectory where you don't know where the ceiling is. You know, you don't know what's really happening. And, you know, like I said, I love drifting. Like, I love this industry. I think, like I said, when I reference how I got started, I think of, you know, and where I was like, this is where I want to be in doing production. I think of a couple people that I'll really inspire me, which was this dude named Josh Kadowitz, who's like one of my best friends growing up, who taught me how to pick up a camera, you know, and then Eric Penelo, and then JJ Larson, which was the guy that I was referencing earlier. And then later down the road was Chris Sempek, you know, where, you know, I'm here, I'm producing these things, and I'm so inspired by it. And it's within a specific niche of motorsports that is still, like I said, kind of on an upward trajectory where we don't know what's really going on, but we're trying to follow it. You know, we're trying to, you know, and Chris and Conte is really good at it, where they want to engage so much with the community and be a part of it to continue to see that upward trajectory, you know? So it's interesting, you know? So like, I don't know if my lifelong career, I would say, is within drifting solely. Like, I wouldn't say
That's
that.
What I was saying. I don't think you'd ever be able to, in our lifetime at least. Maybe, you know.
Yeah, and I think there's also a ton of other, like I said, I do think it's a competitive industry for media and for everything. I mean, you're competing to be seen, you're competing to showcase something and be there and be present. And like I said, I don't think I'm the best by any means. Like, there's other production companies that are top tier in this, and like I said, I'm this, and you know, they're this, and I want to be this one day, but it's like, you know, there's so many variables, there's so many moving parts, and you know, learning right now is the most humbling thing, because you're learning and you're seeing new things, and you're developing, you're adapting and pivoting, you know. So drifting itself is interesting. It's an interesting niche of, you know, of subculture within the automotive industry. So it's changed the trajectory of my life for sure, though. Like, for sure. Like, if I wouldn't have moved out here peak COVID, I wouldn't be having this conversation with you. You know, like
Fair?
Yeah, no, seriously. Like, I was losing all my clients. I was losing all my money. I was like, I do not know what to do. And reached out to someone who was here in California and was like, I need anyone. I'm trying to move back West Coast. And I was being so facetious. I was not trying to move anywhere really outside of Philly.
Yeah.
But he's like, actually, like, I do. And he was
You're
referring
just
to Chris
to do
Sempek.
whatever it had to be
Yeah,
done.
because I was watching the things that I was trying to build just kind of diminish. You know, I was like, man, all these people that I'm trying to provide work for are not making money and they're going out of business.
Yep.
So I fly here and they're still on lockdown, so I don't know nobody. I showed up and I still didn't have an apartment, and I found a lease or an apartment the day I showed up. I had no plan. I hadn't, and that's kind of how I started the name when I was rebranding my production company to Unknown Union, was because I was so inspired by, at some capacity, pursuing the unknown. You know, like a lot of my life and the decisions that I've made, to a degree, obviously, like I don't want to do super dumb shit that gets me killed or that's super unknown where like, I really don't know how this is gonna go. But unknown enough to where it inspires me to try something new.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the name Unknown came from. But I had no plan when I came here, dude.
That's insane.
I had no plan. I was like, I have to try and make this work because I had dropped out of college to pursue this. There was no plan B. I was photoshopping my transcripts to show my parents. And I was working full time as the head of media at an exotic car performance dealer in Philadelphia. And then they thought I was going to school. And then once I officially moved out, because I was like fresh 18, I was like going to community college.
Yeah.
You know, and I was photoshopping transcripts and I was working. And then once I was good, moved out, got my apartment, and then started my company. And then that happened, then LA, and then back.
The biggest risk
Yeah.
always takes the biggest
Pursue the
reward.
unknown.
That's so good, dude.
Yeah.
You ever plan on driving yourself?
I'd like noodle around a little bit, but like I would love to build a car. I don't know when the time for that is gonna be. I keep entertaining the idea of being like, I should just do it. And Cerise is like, I have my E36. Just why would you buy a car? She's like, just drifts my E36. And I was like, yeah, but like, I want my car. You know?
I get that. I get that.
Like, she was like, why would you do that? I was like, no. I was like, no. So it would be cool. I would like to, because like I said, I'm so involved in the sport and so involved with the community here, which I've really grown to love. And like I said, I love the people. I love everyone I get to talk with, like yourself. It's great. So it would be fun to get in a car and, you know, throw laps with people and do fun shit. But the way that I think where I'm at right now and where I'm at with my career is I'm trying to invest as much time in scaling my business, working with companies that will support me, and build relationships that will hopefully get me to a point where it's like it's easy for me to buy a car. I have a great support system, but I'm trying to make sure that I balance in a healthy way work and personal life. You know, sometimes when you're doing your own thing, it meshes so well together that sometimes you get lost or you lose sight of, you know, actual free time and slowing down and taking a breather and work because they're so intertwined. You know, so I'm trying to find that balance right now because I'm trying to grow and be as driven as humanly possible while maintaining, you know, a healthy life and lifestyle and giving myself the time that I need to not cry because I'm busy, you know, like too busy where I can't sleep, you know? So
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Because you drive yourself, right? Because you drive yourself.
Yeah, well, I'll try to.
Yeah.
I haven't had a car that would work right in the past 4 years, so, you know, it's been on and off whenever I can bring a car out and stuff like that, but yeah, everything's like you said, you're just focus on the business, making shit work. You know, it's got to be able to fund it in order for it to even, you know, be plausible to do. So
yeah, because you're leveraging a lot of sponsorship outreach as well. Like you're relying on people to take an investment and having talks like these and conversations. So it's incredible. It's cool. It's good for the industry. I think it's great for the community too. Truly.
Thank you, dude.
Not even to give you a big head. I know I'm sitting right in front of you. I'd say this somewhere else as well. I think it's great. I think it's great for the community. I think it's cool to hear other people. Like I said, it's weird that I'm up here and Ryan Sage was just before me. Like that's fucking weird. You know, like I said, I do not see myself anywhere.
Name another podcast that does that.
You said what?
I said name another podcast that does that.
That's what I'm saying.
Just
like
all
it's
different
really
types
cool.
of people.
It's very cool. So like I said, I'm very grateful to be here. It's really cool to talk to you about what I do and how I kind of got started. You know, it's neat. It's really niche. It's cool, man. I'm thankful.
Well, I appreciate it from
that.
my end too. It's cool to see a nice spice to media and drifting and a nice take to it. Actually, that example I was going to give you the other day, I got a buddy of mine that I went to school with, ended up in Knoxville. I don't know where he's at now. I think Florida or something, but he ended up picking up a camera and getting into Sony's FX3, I think is what he has now. And he shoots for like NFL teams and colleges and stuff and
It's awesome.
just shooting football. But he has this wild editing technique, or just like the way he edits in general, that I think would add a cool spin to drifting, because he uses a lot of like, After Effects. You go into After Effects, do all the like the glowing outlines
Sure.
and like crazy cutouts to transition and stuff like that. That with how many moving parts are on a car, he would find more opportunities to make better transitions and stuff like that. So,
That's-
that was
that's
my
rad.
example from
Yeah,
earlier.
that's rad. That's
but-
good. So he's still working with NFL teams and stuff like that?
Yeah, I
That's
think
awesome.
so.
Yeah,
I haven't
that's
talked to him
sick.
in years, but
Yeah, it's cool.
yeah.
I mean, because I hate saying this too. This might be a bad take.
I'm in it.
But like, I think you got it or you don't. Truly. Like I really think, and again, but that could also be contradicting everything I was saying before, because it is subjective, dude. Everything that we do, if you're just creating to create, is subjective. It's very just subjective, especially if you're not doing it for a client where it's like, okay, there's no arguing like, yo, this didn't perform well, there's no money, like there's analytics to show this, but like if we're creating to be an artist and create to create, you can think this is great, someone else might not, but like I when I stand on like, I think you got it or you don't, like that's just a belief that I
don't know
have.
if I fully agree with that. To an extent, I would have to say that if you have it or you don't would only imply to the motivation that it takes, not the skill set. A skill set can be trained. Me, you can ask her, you can ask anyone in my family, I'm the last person that they would think would do this. Just sit down and have a conversation with someone. I'm very introverted. I'm not a very outspoken person. It's taken a lot for me to get to the point where I can just have a full-on conversation with somebody and be fine. I'm sure you notice that sometimes I stutter and like
Sure.
I blank and blah, 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 but like it part of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't say that you either have it or you don't. I think that only detail implies to the motivation it takes to get there. Fair
That's
to
a good
say?
point. That's super valid. That's super valid, and I do agree with that. I still won't redact my comment about it.
No, don't. No, I'm not asking you to. I'm just saying.
But like, I do think that is very true. I
Yeah.
think if you want something enough and you pursue it enough, you could do it. And that's something that I'm a firm believer in. Like, if you want something, you got to do it. Like,
I'm not knocking that. There's just naturally born talented people out
yes,
there.
and that's what I'm referring to. It's like, there's
but-
some people that you're like, you were meant to play the fucking piano.
yeah.
Like, I don't know how you do it, but like, you're 3 years old and you're playing the most complex fucking symphony or Beethoven song ever. Like, this was for you.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. There is, if you want something enough, I think there is, and you have the will and the drive and the grit to do it, I do think you could achieve it, for sure. I will never take that away from anyone. So yeah, you're right. All right.
Yeah, I'll
All right,
backpedal.
dude. All right, I get it.
I love it, man.
I totally get it.
Well, I know I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I probably have a lot
I
already.
appreciate
so,
it. Yeah, I gotta shoot. So
I gotta ask though, from someone that doesn't have a drift car themselves,
Mm-hmm.
which one of Kansei's wheels are your favorite?
oh, dude. Okay. Staple for me, all-time favorite, K&P. I love the K&P. I love that wheel, dude. I really do that. I think they did a really good version of a 5-spoke. I think they did an incredible job. And I know this is biased. You're asking me, and it's pretty
know.
fucking biased.
If you want to understand more why, go watch the first podcast with Chris. He explains the whole K&P story,
and that's
how
another
it became.
part-
It used to be called a Noop. All that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a really cool story, and that's another reason that I think it's so cool, because that's what started it. And I think for me, like, knowing the origin of that wheel and how that started the company and the trajectory to get me involved in the company is cool. So like, I think about it in a little bit of a different way, because I got there, it's been 7 years that they've been a company, and I got there year 2 when they started transitioning into like e-commerce, and like they need to start doing online
Yeah,
marketing and branding and stuff like that. So it's that, but like kind of started from that wheel, but I just love that 5-spoke. And then the next is an Astro for me. I love the Astro, dude. I
Still
really,
the 5-spoke.
yeah,
Same thing, yeah.
Yeah, I really like it, but I think the K&P takes the cake for me, man.
Awesome.
For sure, yeah.
I can see it. I've always loved the Neos, but that's probably because that was my first Kansei wheel.
Yeah,
anyways,
also
but-
another crazy ad campaign. That one, scary, long.
We don't have to go into
We
that.
won't.
Yeah,
We won't.
I
That
could
one was
imagine
crazy.
that one.
That one was crazy. But yeah, man.
Awesome, dude. Well, I will let you get back to it. I can hear the cars out there, so I'm sure
Yeah.
you got to get back
I
to
got
work.
a boogie, but dude, I cannot thank you enough for having me.
thank
This
you.
was super fun. I really appreciate the conversation. This also helped me tackle some being in front of the camera and talking to someone in this
Good, dude.
capacity with a mic, you know, as I'm typically behind the camera. So this was great. I really appreciate you having me on, man.
Absolutely, dude. You're welcome anytime.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
Oh, yeah. Go
All right,
have
man.
some fun.
Yeah, man.
Way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want fuck, then I leave her. I'm a young pop star, call the boy Justin Bieber. Got a little money if you want, I can teach her. Whole life a movie, you can watch it in theater.